Picture this. Canada is the second largest country in the world, filled with towering mountains, endless forests, and bustling cities. But here's the twist. Most of that land is nearly empty. That's right. While Canada has a lot of space, its people are spread out in very interesting ways. Why do some areas have massive cities while others are almost untouched? In this video, we'll explore population density and distribution in Canada, looking at where people live, why they live there, and what this means for the country as a whole. Brought to you by Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work. Discover the full range of what we offer at supersimplesheets.com. Section 1. What is population density and distribution? Let's start with the basics. Population density measures how many people live in a specific area. Imagine you have a loaf of bread. If everyone crowds onto one slice, that's like high population density, a lot of people in a small area. But if everyone spreads out across the whole loaf, that's low population density. Now, population distribution is about where people live across the land. Are they in cities, near rivers, or scattered across rural areas? In Canada, the distribution of people is anything but even. The majority of Canadians live in the southern part of the country, near the United States border, even though there's so much land further north. Section 2. Why do people live where they do? Why do most Canadians live in certain areas? The answer lies in geography, history, and opportunities. First, let's talk about geography. Southern Canada has milder weather, which makes it much easier to live and work. Think about it. Living in a place where the winters aren't as harsh makes daily life simpler. This is especially true in areas like southern Ontario and Quebec, where the climate is more temperate. Next, we have history. Many of Canada's first settlements were built along rivers and lakes because these made transportation and trade easier. Cities like Montreal and Toronto grew around these early trading hubs. Then there's opportunity. Major cities like Vancouver, Calgary, and Ottawa offer jobs, schools, and access to healthcare, which attract people from smaller towns and rural areas. These cities are part of a region known as the Main Urban Corridor, where most Canadians live and work. Section 3. Fun facts about Canada's population distribution. Canada's population is a mix of the highly packed and the incredibly sparse. Did you know that over half of Canadians live in just two provinces, Ontario and Quebec? These areas have some of the country's biggest cities and most fertile land. Meanwhile, the territories in northern Canada, like Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, have some of the lowest population densities in the world. Nunavut, for example, is larger than many countries but has fewer than 40,000 people. That's because the Arctic climate is so harsh, with freezing temperatures and limited resources. And here's another cool fact. Canada's population is clustered along the US border. In fact, over 80% of Canadians live within a couple hundred kilometers of the border. This area is home to the country's biggest cities and industries, and it's where most of the action happens. Section 4. What does this mean for Canada? Canada's unique population density and distribution bring both benefits and challenges. On the plus side, having wide open spaces means there's room for things like farming, forestry, and protecting wildlife. Canada has some of the largest national parks in the world, which wouldn't be possible without so much land. But there are also challenges. Providing services like healthcare and education in remote areas can be really tough. Imagine trying to get a doctor to a tiny community in the Arctic. It takes time, resources, and planning. Another challenge is keeping northern communities connected. Many rely on expensive air travel or ice roads, which are only usable during the winter. The government works hard to ensure these areas have what they need, but it's not always easy. Conclusion. Canada's population density and distribution are a fascinating mix of packed cities and sprawling wilderness. While most people live in the south, the wide-open north is a vital part of what makes Canada unique. Understanding where people live and why helps us appreciate the diversity and challenges of this incredible country. So, the next time you look at a map of Canada, think about all the stories behind where people choose to call home and how those choices shape the nation. Thanks for watching. Simplify your teaching journey with Super Simple Sheets. Across Canada, we're known for our ready-to-use, curriculum-aligned worksheets. Dive into our educational solutions at supersimplesheets.com. Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work.